kind of late in the game here, but in it says 23 cents. Life is good.
Pulling this up right now. Oh my god. This thing is just. Dude, you're still holding on to this? I'm surprised you haven't taken profit yet.
It took some profits.
Holy crap, dude. It's up 1,000%, Dr. Crypto.
No, I'm not up 1,000%.
This is up 1,000% though.
It is?
Yeah, it's up from February 9th. 1,000%.
Keeps on flying.
What the hell is this thing?
There's a saying, William. When you go to battle, you make your plan in the tent, not on the field. I've made my plan in the tent. I'm sticking to it. You know? Oh, buddy, I'm just waiting for this thing to give me direction. So for now, I'm just chilling. Yeah, to say it elegantly. Come on, buddy, give me something. Oh, buddy took profit. He left. Yes. No drinking, no smoking, no none of that. Nothing, none of those stuff. I'll go ride my bike or my bicycle. Oh, sweet man. What are you gonna be a Harley guy, or are you gonna do? Are you gonna be a big grand tourer? What kind of bike do you like? 'Cause it's an identity piece. It defines the type of person you are. It's very important. You're gonna get judged by what you buy. Remember that. Just get the wind in your face. That's all you want. True, 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 true. With a with a baby seat in the back, though. I think he doesn't know either. Late night, one after a couple of drinks, something like that. Okay. Nothing to do on Bitcoin yet. Nothing for Bitcoin yet. We're still just chopping. Okay, so the bears are taking control of this. So 70,200. There's some serious buyers entering the market right now. That could mean that we could see some really good downside for Bitcoin. So let's see how this plays out. I'll probably only go short once we take out those bulls at the bottom there, because I mean, there's a lot of orders that kind of piled in there. The main reason I'm not too eager to jump in just yet for everybody, if you have a look at the chart, brief, in a way, I'll scale up the time and just switch off some of the information. What we have still at this stage is the market's still just trying to figure out what it wants to do. So if you look at the volume profile, I'll put it on just volume. You can see that this is the point of control. Is it raining for somebody? Oh, it's raining for me. Okay. The sun was shining like 20 minutes. Like as soon as we went live, the sun was still shining. So I missed something there. But okay. That, well, it might be raining money into my pocket soon. So then that's okay. Yeah. I like that one as well. But okay, there we go. So guys, we've got a couple of low volume nodes, but nothing too crazy here for Bitcoin at this stage. So I don't see that there's a lot of unfinished business trading between 70,100 and 69,400. So there's that we need to note. So I'm expecting that this is just a market shakeout. When do I want to go long? I want to go long when we're above this range, because this is basically where the market is finding balance. So this is where chop is going to live. So anything between these 2 points, as a simple way to just point it out, that's where chop is. And it means that it's not going to make sense. Your TA is not going to work. You're going to get stopped out. It's going to be frustrating. And it's going to maybe, you might get a good buy. And then as soon as you think you're going to celebrate, it comes and takes your stop. That's basically what this means. So I don't want to be anticipating or participating in the market there. I want to make sure that this resolves itself. Now, when we have ranges like this, ranges built, the market will go from one range to another range, which means the last time we had a range was when we were here between 75 and 73.6. And this is where the imbalance or the trend got created, which means if we get above this range and consolidate, we're going to go fill this gap. Simple. Then there's a nice trade for us to be had between 70,900 and 73,000. If you take a 10 BTC long there, there's a nice easy payday. The same then is true for the bear side of things, because we've got this range. If we fall below 69,300, then it opens the door for us to go and test 65 and potentially even trend lower. Now, if I'm going to be honest with you guys regarding my personal, what would pay better? This would pay better short term, because then this is the move for the day. It's going to be something like this. And then over the weekend, we might quiet down. This will pay better. But I think this is the trade that everybody's anticipating. And just to be a contrarian, it doesn't mean that you always need to do the opposite. Sometimes the no-brainer trade is the least expected trade, because everybody's just sitting on the side. But this will pay better because there's more gains to be had if that plays out. But on the larger time frame, if we scale this into the 4-hour picture, as I shared this morning, what we've done now and where we're at is we've created a scenario where what was good areas to short the market while we were range bound. This zone here, you can clearly see that. I'll mark it as a sell zone. There we go, sell zone. What was a good area to short the market? Many times it got there. Once it blew through, we tried to turn it into support. Turns into a good buy zone. And what we have right now is that exact zone being tested. And that's why I was looking for longs yesterday. And it's simple. We could potentially do this version of the short. You wick into it, you consolidate, you come back, you consolidate, you come back, and eventually you go into a direction. And it means that this is an area for you to be bullish, understanding that if we go through this range, there will be a little bit of a rehash or a rejection or retest of the 69,400. So don't try and predict the market. Trade what the market is giving you. And at this stage, it's just giving you chop. So there's not a lot to trade. I'm just waiting for that. So that's what I'm doing. It's now at 25 minutes after the US market opened. So I think the crazy is filtered out. I'm going to clean my chart slightly. And I don't know if you have any questions or anything, Will, or anything you want to ask, or anybody else. This is now the first time we're doing it this way. being in a space and in a YouTube at the same time. See, there's correct. Yeah, so if you look at this 5 minute, if you look at where we are right now, if we start breaking this low target liquidity, I'm going to go to the 1 minute just to show you the thought pattern. Then what we've done is now, this could have been a good entry. Nothing wrong with trying to short this, but the probabilities are lower. Where if you think of it like this and you start switching on where the big volume orders are, the big guys, they went long here. So what's going to happen as soon as we break through this level? All these longs, big orders, they're going to get squeezed. And then we'll probably start creating imbalance. And that's when the market starts trending. So at the moment, the worst thing you could do for yourself is to try and short here, because you don't know whether these guys are going to come back in full force and defend it. Wait for them to lose, because then you've got a trend established. Then there's something to trade, because that's what we want to do. We just want to get in with a momentum. So I'm just waiting for this to break through. You'll see it will be a big quick move. It's gonna do something like that, and then I want to see that candle stay there. Not this. This is the typical trap. You don't want this. You want the candle to stay there. Then I can enter, and then I could probably use whatever. This is the last point where the bears took control of the market. If it's going to be a trend, it won't go past that level. Now there's a tight enough stop for me to play with, and I don't have to worry about this, because as soon as you go in here, you're wrong. You want to be wrong quick, and you want to be right for a long period of time, and that's what I'm waiting for right now. There's many of these examples you can see. If you go, you stay there, what happens? You don't need to stay and hold this thing until down here or it makes a lower low. Get out quick. Get out quick. Then you call it a day, and then you know that, I was wrong quickly, and now I can wait for the next trend to establish. So there we go. We've now broken through. Let's see, 3 more seconds. This could just be a trap. I want to see this candle close there. See there? Do it right. Let's go. Yeah. Is it Mitoshi or simple charts, Joe? Simple charts, Joe. Simplistic chart, Joe. I think that's the handle. Sorry. Simplistic chart, Joe. What's up, buddy? There we There's just a chalkboard here, buddy, so there's no pages, don't worry.
throw money at it or whatever. And then
How
on top of that,
important, sir, that
I think the Clarity Act is going to make or break the next quarter, April, May, June. If we get it, yeah, I mean, we don't, it's like we don't have any adult leadership at any range, at any level, anywhere in this world. I was going to say country, but that goes without saying.
Yeah,
And, you
it's
know,
for sure,
yeah,
Joe. I was going to say, I just wanted to put a shout out some breaking news. Apparently, traders are pricing in a 50% chance for a rate cut in October, which is not rate cut, rate increase. Sorry, rate increase in October, which is insane to think about. But also, there was just an announcement that the Pentagon is sending 3 warships and I think a couple thousand Marines in the Middle East now. So the market,
What a timing! What a timing! So the
yeah,
next Bitcoin dump is going to be obviously the war and all that, and
yeah,
yeah,
it's like every time it's the same movie, same movie, same movie. Like I agree with everything you said, Joe. Absolutely everything. But the Clarity Act, if they pass it today or in 2 months or in 3 months, it's not saving. It's not saving the cycle. Basically, I mean, it's still gonna go lower. As you said, 45. That's easy number for me to grasp of BTC, if not lower. To me, I still see it lower. Like that 49 and a half. It's like program, even 40,000 as well.
yeah,
Even
because
if they pass the Clarity Act tomorrow, I don't think this gonna matter at all. Maybe for another. If I think they're gonna pass it after the next dump, uh, I expect another BTC dump. I've been talking about it for a little bit, and after that happens, and we're gonna go down below 60. I don't know where we're gonna stop. We'll see. Or maybe even 49 and a half. Then we're gonna have some good news, and that's gonna be the last relief rally. Maybe then we'll see. Maybe that's going to be the bottom. Let's see
hmm
how far we dump. But I
gotcha.
think we're
Yeah,
going to have some good news after the dump. That's, in my opinion, happening. It's almost around the corner, and then we're going
right.
to have another relief rally.
Gotcha. Yeah, but speaking of them doing that, I guess one of the things the military goes off of never underestimate your enemy, and it seems like we've been doing that since Vietnam. But anyway, I think they underestimated. You know,
Iran,
yeah, I think so. I think they,
powerful country. It's a powerful country.
yeah, yeah. But back to Bitcoin. Yeah, I was thinking if from the all time high would come down around even 70%, because that's been kind of the in the
It was even
70s.
deeper. Was even deeper, but yeah,
Yeah.
possible
See,
because they kind of always a little smaller than the previous one.
gotcha. Yeah. Then
So
we're
70.
yeah, we're sub 40,000, which is hard to believe, but yeah.
That's to me this is like the best we're gonna get. Exactly $40,000. That would be the best bottom.
Uh-huh.
Meaning, if we don't go lower, that's my number.
Gotcha.
Exactly there. It's exactly there, like $40,250.
Yeah, you can't get more precise than that. Like,
Let's stop there. I don't mind.
yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, talking about then switching gears to the S&P. We'll see if we can, or the SPY, same deal, but see if we can get a little bounce off that 652 here. And man, we might just have to. I just keep. That's what I just keep writing it down to the next round number, and then if we 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, going on 6 5-minute candles, that's getting pretty excessive. And then who knows? They might rally this thing up. You know, well, with that news, and I appreciate Wolf bringing it on here. With that type of news, yeah, man, we might sell off the rest of the day. There's
Yeah.
nothing. Yeah,
Like
I
I
don't
said,
see.
it's always the timing, and the timing now we have it
Yeah,
perfectly at 66. we spoke about it weeks ago that that's the next step.
Mhm. Yeah. No, I agree.
On the Nasdaq at that bounce, the retest of London low, and that's when the news came out. So I'm looking good right now. I'm in green. It's pretty great.
Yeah,
I like green.
Mhm.
I do see Prometheus's hand up. So Prometheus, I want to bring you on stage. What's up, brother?
Well, it's been a minute. Thanks for having me. Good to see everybody here. Dr. Crypto, Rudo, Simplistic, everyone else here. Nah, man, it's been a minute. Crazy couple weeks. It's like, I don't know. It feels every day more and more like we're living in some sort of TV show or something. I don't
Simulation.
know. Yeah. It's like science fiction is becoming science fact daily and just keeps getting weirder. But in terms of the crypto markets, I've just been mostly in observation mode. As you guys know, I'm focused mostly on building at the moment. But it is interesting to me that we are seeing. I'm seeing the setup for major rallies coming summer across a handful of alts, but everything else is going to be like like it's going to hit the shitstorm. So as I always say in this industry, 99.99999% of these projects they're not gonna scale, but you want to find that 0.0000 whatever 1%. And amongst that, I see for sure at the moment, like this rally that we're seeing somewhat, it's a small rally back into the major top 100s currencies is promising. I'm looking at, especially, I'm a big Ripple fan. I do see it being set up for something significant. Obviously, we've had some growth back in Solana and ETH. ETH adding some L1, L2 faster payment solutions that I think is going to help a lot with their RWA play. And so, generally speaking, I think like because of the geopolitical instability, I think that's going to positively feed back into our industry. Again, for that 0.0, we're talking now, I like to call them the blue chips. All right. So when you hear me talk about positive, I'm talking about the blue chips, not the 99.9999% failures. I hope everyone understands that. All right. So for the blue chips, I do see it a positive feedback coming into this space, especially as we continue to see oil prices climb, as we continue to see, I believe we will see the dollar, the pound, the euro massively hit either later this year or early next year. As a result of more money printing that's going to come online as this war escalates. And have no doubt in your mind, this war is going to escalate. This is not going to be a short term. I know that's how we're being sold, that this is going to be short term. It is not going to be short term. This is going to escalate because we're kind of in a, kind of to take the conversation in a slightly different direction, but I do believe it's relevant in terms of understanding markets and economies and currencies and so on. Is we're kind of in a pre-World War I, World War II kind of scenario, in the sense that you have these alliances all around the world, and now, one target has been hit, and then the other guys are just kind of like waiting to respond. So I think there will be a response from Russia and China later this year, and that's going to massively impact markets, currencies, economies in a big way, supply chains. Already the Pentagon is requesting 200 billion addition for the war front. So expect more money printing to happen as a result of things escalating. So when that happens, you are going to see, a knock-on effect on the dollar and its equivalent, price. And so, like, I've said this to Dr. Crypto, I've said it in previous shows before. There's nothing stable about stable coins. Okay, when the shitstorm hits, and it will hit, all right, you will see a depegging and be like, nah, bruh, we're taking a divorce from this price action, marriage that we've had, artificially since the beginning. I think there's going to be some expect some major chaos in the marketplace when that goes down. So all this to say, this is preparation time. That's how I'm seeing it in these next few months. I'm solely focused on, getting assets that I know will grow long term, both digital and analog. Okay. I love our industry, but folks, I'm not just biased towards, I'm not one of these crypto only bros. I enjoy solid real estate plays. I enjoy solid precious metal plays, and I think we can all have some fun together. So anyway, I'll land my thoughts there for the moment. Believe it or not, I do have choir practice in a bit. I sing in a choir band. So I had to come in and give my little update because I know these days we're starting a bit earlier, GMT time. But yeah, those are my thoughts for the moment, and I'd love to hear from the panel as well.
What are you singing?
So before you go, the stable coins, I absolutely agree with you there. What's the difference in printing stable coins than regular printing money? Regular printing money doesn't exist almost anymore. They just add digits. Same like, USDT, they just minted another $1 billion, another $5 billion. How do they do it? Where's that money? Where's that audit of them? It doesn't exist. Okay,
Exactly, Dr. Crypto. Like
so
this is,
that I
yep,
understand. We're on the same page completely. People think, oh, this is 100% backed. It's the same fucking backed like our dollar is backed by gold. Actually, I was walking the dogs not long ago, and there was a woman that I thought she gonna fucking kill me because she was ready to go to the bank with me and request gold for her fucking euros. I'm like, woman, you really need to like quit the pills you're taking, okay? Because this is not even conspiracy. This is known fact for what, 70 years? No, sorry, 50 years, right? But people still believe that. So same as the stable coins. Exactly, agreed.
exactly. And Rudo, to answer your question, we're singing one John Mayer song, and the rest are kind of like like Jesus oriented songs. So I'll share them with you in the DMs later. Yeah.
My wife was singing in a choir too, like a big one in New York.
You have to sing one, Prometheus. You got to sing one before you leave.
Oh,
Yes,
bro.
sing a tiny bit. Come on.
Free falling. I don't know if you guys know that song. And I'm free falling. Yeah, it's a
Eat some
cheesy John Mayer song.
Markets are free falling right now. It's a perfect song. It's the markets are free falling. So
Yeah. No, they're not free falling yet. Now it's this is a small demolition right now, a small one.
Exactly, guys. I do need to bounce out for the choir practice, but if you guys are still going in like 40 minutes or a bit later, I'll definitely jump back on. But yeah,
Good luck.
definitely want to catch up with all of you. All right, we've got lots of business to do in the coming days and weeks. So yeah,
sure.
Good
see you
luck with
guys.
everything.
Everyone go.
Cheers, brother. God bless you guys. Speak soon. Bye.
Follow
Bye.
his choir skills, everyone. Beautiful singing from Prometheus there. Price action update. We have the NASDAQ coming lower here. We retested London low, came lower. I went ahead and took profits on my short. Just a quick scalp there. And looks like we are about to trend a little lower. I don't want to test fate though. I know what these indices do. The indices tend to reverse pretty quickly throughout the day, or pretty slowly throughout the day, I should say, from the initial move in the morning. So we'll see what happens. I'm kind of just chilling there. Ethereum, where's Ethereum? I'm still in my long on Ethereum. Have not been stopped out yet. Have traded lower a little bit. Bitcoin, like we talked about with Rudo, doing something similar here. It's kind of just it's coming lower, but if you zoom out on the 12-hour, the daily, we're still in that kind of weird zone right now. We haven't really decided what trend we're going. I would love your thoughts on that, Rudo, on the zoomed out time frames though, as opposed to maybe like the 15 or the 5 minute here.
Yeah, we can quickly have a look at that. I'm going to do this and just hide everything. So we've got
And while Rudo's pulling that up, I was going to say, when he's talking about choir practice, turning back to the old days, yeah, a bunch of coaches, that's what we would call it when we would meet up and have some adult beverages and then gamble our butts off playing all kinds of different card games. We just call it choir practice so that, we could talk about it during school hours. Nobody would know what we were talking about. And honestly, I'm so PTSD'd over that when he said choir practice. That's what I was thinking. I go, oh man, he's going to go play cards, So anyway, that's what.
We love you, Joe. This is another
That's
good
the
one.
yeah, that's the twisted life I've lived. But
Yeah,
anyway,
love it.
but I was
I've been there, but I was going to practice guitar when I was saying I'm going to religion
okay.
classes. So it wasn't
Oh,
choir singing.
there
That
you
would not
go.
fly with my father because I'm a lousy singer. But yeah, that was guitar at that time. And other things. No drugs, just girls.
Oh yeah, yeah, clean fun, clean.
Continue. We like to hear it. Tell us. Tell us your stories, man. It's a perfect day for that. Bitcoin is going down. Everything is going down. You there, Joe?
Oh yeah, no, I interrupted
No, you did
Rudio.
not interrupt anyone.
Yeah, he
Oh, you
was
interrupted Rudo. Sorry.
Rudo. Yeah, yeah. So I was
Nice,
holding on
Rudo.
for him, Rudo. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Let's
And I
hold
know
up
if you
for
guys
Rudo.
want to rock some stories. I mean, I'm easy either way.
Hit the charts. Hit the charts.
Well, all I wanted to, and I think all that Will wanted me to share why I'm bullish and why it's a little bit of a crazy zone right now, is if you look at the market from a 4-hour point of view, just from a trending perspective, and this is now for the guys on the spaces. There's a link somewhere there, so you can go click on the YouTube where I'm streaming the screen, which just makes it a little bit easier to put to to see what I'm trying to say. In short, you always find that the market goes through these lateral ranges, and TA is brilliant at telling you what you should have done. I think everybody can agree with me there. But if TA is done right, it's actually just a risk management tool. That's all you need to actually think of it like as that. And what happened was when you were range bound, you're sitting in a situation where this is resistance and this is support, and then there's all the deviations and the crazy chop that makes it hard for traders to get in on moves. But once we start trending, once we start moving in harmony, what happens is the market gives you a very clear point of where you should have gone long or short, depending on whatever the trend direction is. And when you bring in your friend the RSI later on, let me just quickly load my RSI. Where have I now put you? I'm going to bring him up and expand this and then collapse this one. There we go. If you bring in your friend the RSI and you start looking at those points in the market when it's time to take action, or you should have taken action, you find that then becomes the pivot in the market that tells you when to look for hidden bearish divergence, meaning the market must not go above that level again, but the RSI should. And when the RSI does go above that level, that's that point when we're in that overbought or oversold condition, depending on trend direction. Now, what we can do is we can add additional layers to that and say, okay, right, if that is the case, there's typical statistical points when the market is going to turn around. I think I've got this just set to the wrong settings. But in any case, you get the idea. And it's when you're around these levels where you want to try and go short again. And layering all these divergences and all these things along with trends and waves, it gives you an idea of when to act as well. And this all gets determined by the divergence that creates the reversal. So you draw it from there onwards, and you can see how the market respects that into the future. And this is a little bit of a Wyckoff-Garn hybrid, which means from where we are right now, it's actually premature to look at the market as a sell, and there's still the potential that we're going to go on higher. Then what do we have to add to this is that there's imbalances. The market, when it does go to that supply zone, so it gives you date and time, it gives you a location, and it has confluence. There will typically be an imbalance left in the market, or a low liquidity node, or there's many terms for basically pointing to the same thing. And in addition to this, there's also CME gaps. Like, we do have a crazy CME gap because this happened over the weekend. So there's a crazy CME gap at 80,000 as well. So there's enough reason for us to believe that the market is trying to look for a reason to go to the upside. All of this is a lovely story because it doesn't really bring any confidence to what is happening right now. But all you need to do to look at this from a larger structure, or from a larger point of view, is then to say, okay, right, if I've got Bitcoin in a lateral range as we've got here, what is the one thing that happens in all lateral ranges? There's a point when the market tells you there's an amazing area to short the range, meaning there's a point in the range where a lot of supply enters the market. And that then stays or remains a good sell zone until the market decides to flip that, and it turns it into a good buy zone. And the rule with any trend, when you're from a range to a trending environment, what typically happens is when you have good sell zones and they fail, they turn into good buy zones. And we don't need to go far back into the past to see the exact same thing happening in there. When you have good sell zones, when they fail, they turn into good buy zones. And if they fail again, they'll turn back into good sell zones. So you have this, one can almost say, like a point of control of where the market was looking for harmony, or where the most amount of volume occurred. But that's normally the launch pad for when the next big move happens, be it to the upside in this instance, or to the downside in that instance. And it's not for us to try and question which direction it's going to be. All that we need to do is apply one simple rule and say, okay, right, if we're breaking through it and we're coming back, we want to continue. The trend's your friend until it bends. If you're breaking through it and you come back, you want it to continue. That's all you want to do. And while it's in that zone, you have to be patient. Dr. Crypto says it beautifully. Patience, P-A-Y, patience. So where we're at right now, I'm just saying to myself, and I'm looking at this from a structural point of view, I'm trying to not overthink things. And I'm saying to myself, if I'm using all this rational theory that I've shared with you guys on the premise that the market is just trying to look for liquidity and it's going to leave the max amount of people behind when it goes on these moves. That's your job, is to be patient and not get caught up in the crazy 1 minute scalps and swings and stuff. Means that you have to have your plan, like I've laid mine out, done before you take trades. So it's like a military, you do it in the tent, not while you're on the field fighting the battle, because then your view is going to be completely different. So when I look at this from this point of view, I'm going to war. What am I need to do? I need to be a buyer here and hope I get to win the battle. And if I do and stick to my guns, the potential is that I will win the war as well. And then from that point onward, move down slower. So the higher time frame for me still supports this area as a typical buy zone. And yes, I'm not blind to the fact that there might be some resistance meeting up at 73K. And all this fast moves, when it's fast, they don't last. And it's true for the upside. So you can see anytime the market does do these fast moves, at some stage, it needs to go trade in that inefficiency in price action. And it means that at some stage, even if I'm bullish now and we don't go to 80K this time around, there will be some trading there pretty soon. How it's going to go there, I don't know, but there will be some trading there because it will go and fill that in. This is just simple price structure. And then at this stage, it could mean that we only go to 80 and say April. I mean, there's no rule that says it has to happen this time around. It could take even longer. And that's larger time frame. So if I take all of this and I say, okay, right now I know what my game plan is before I want to go to war. And I then zoom into where I'm at right now. the 1 minute, which maybe sounds a little crazy from 4 hours to a 1 minute time frame. But I zoom into this area right now. Now I have a clear idea of what this lateral range means for me, because we can see that there's a lateral range that formed here. I'll quickly draw it out for you. It's the simplest way is just to maybe use this tool, something you can go replicate at home or on your own PC. And if we look at this whole piece of price action from when we broke out and started moving this, all of this is just the market trying to find balance around these points. And all of this is still just part and parcel of this price action, because we're just trying to find a floor here. Deviation back in the range, testing the range. And the rule when you're range bound is simple. You're bullish at the bottom, you trade to the middle of the range, you take profit. You're bearish at the top, you trade to the middle of the range, you take profit. Hence the fact that the setup I just shared with you guys is this setup. So I don't know whether the guys have taken it, but there's the setup. I'm looking for strong bullish divergence at the critical support level that's going to drive price out. So there was 4 entry levels. There was a clear stop outside of the range, and TP1 is in the middle of the range, which we're about to almost hit. Okay, so there's the whole walkthrough. I don't know. Does that make sense?
That makes a lot of sense, man. That makes a lot of sense. Dr. Crypto, go for it. I see you unmuted.
No. Yeah, it makes sense. Makes sense. I'm still in my short, up over 700%. So I'm still not letting that one go. But yeah, absolutely makes sense. Yeah, I know about the gap too. I mean, everything Rudo said, yeah, it makes sense. I'm just thinking we're going to go lower first.
Yeah, I took profit on that scalp short. I actually opened a scalp long while Rudo was talking on the NASDAQ and just closed that one out as well. So currently in the green for the day. Looking like we're going to bust through London low right now on the NASDAQ. I'm going to keep my ETH trade open for now. I don't see really a reason to close it, and we're not anywhere near my stop. So that's the only crypto I'll be trading today. I think, aside from maybe an altcoin or two, another altcoin like what is it, Tau pumped pretty well, so I might get involved with that later on. We'll see if we can maintain this trend, but we are currently breaking out of London low right now. I want to see if we get rejected again before making another position on the NASDAQ.
Yeah.
And then I might open. I mean, 8%. VIX is up 8%, so volatility is pretty high. But if you play volatility crush pretty well, you could play the S&P 500 today on SPX and possibly get away with the credit spread. So we'll see. Joe, do you play with credit spreads at all? I'm curious. Joe, you there?
Yeah, no, that's a little too sophisticated for me. Or I'll make it that way. Yeah. Yeah, I just stick with the matter of fact, even crypto, a lot of that is just swing trading, not anything day trading or anything, you know. Now the stocks, that's a different world. But I don't get too fancy with any of the other stuff. But I was thinking earlier with all the, not rumors of war, I think they passed the rumors, but when they go to war, it makes you think, what's the real motive? Why are they want us to look left? What are they doing with the right hand? Because the left hand's over here, yeah, we're blowing up stuff, doing this, doing that, but there's got to be some magic going on. They're doing something with the right hand. We don't know what's happening. I think it's just a distraction.
Always distraction, always money printing. Bankers always win. And
Yeah.
that's all it's to it. And there's so much more to this war than other wars, but that's for different spaces. I love you all, guys. I'm sorry I interrupted. I need to go.
Yeah.
Have a great weekend, everyone. Make some winning trades or just relax and wait.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Good luck. Good luck, everyone. I'll speak to you next week.
Yeah, good talking to you. Good hearing you.
Always.
Cheers.
See you later,
Yeah.
Wolf. Nice to be here as always. Rudo,
Cheers.
everyone,
Have a good one.
listeners. Speak to you next week.
Heck yeah, man. Thank you.
You too. Bye-bye.
Looks like we're getting rejected here again on the London low. Still going to wait for this candlestick to close before that's decided. But it's not looking good. Not looking pretty, guys. Looking pretty awful here.
Or pretty picture. Pretty awful depends on what side of the fence you're on.
Well, I mean, for longs. Sorry, for longs. Anyone that's trying to catch the falling knife here, not recommended is what I would say.
Okay.
We'll see, though. I'm on the 3-minute candles, so we'll see if that even matters at this point. We'll see if bulls somehow try to flip the narrative here, take control. I don't know if it will happen. Probably not. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, the interesting thing is if you look at the volume delta for where we are with Bitcoin right now, there's not a real big, there's a lot of bears that entered the market there. There's a lot of bulls that, not a lot of bulls that entered the market there. So there's definitely, if there's a side to lose, it's the bears side. So I want to go long, aggressive. We've got this one. But I will go long once we take out all the spares. We're not done yet. This is still just range bound, and we could chop over the weekend. I mean, the interesting thing, I did it on the YouTube video this morning, where we looked at. I think I did it on the wrong link, but where we looked at the YouTube this morning. We were looking at the weekends, Saturday and Sunday Asia time being the best buying the bottom times for Bitcoin. If you look at the which is weird because it's normally retail dies away, but if you look at this chart here, this is Saturday Sunday, this is Saturday Sunday, and so those being the good areas to buy when you're at these support levels over a weekend. And there's evidence to say, well, we're leading into the weekend. We could just chop around here and then come Asia market, we start moving to the upside. So, yeah, interesting stuff.
No, it's very interesting. I realize that, honestly. I'm gonna look into that more. I see the circles you're putting down there. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So, guys, there's about 115 people joining in on the YouTube, and how many people? 11 in the space on Spaces.
Yeah, 13. Yeah.
Drop your link, share, whatever you say. How your byline. Let's get. What do you?
Oh, the Spaces link.
No. What do you call it when you do that? Self-promoting. I suck at self-promoting. So, promote us. Come on.
Yeah, you're shill. You want me to drop a shill?
Shill, yeah, drop a shill. Let's see. Everybody that's in the space, where's their handles? I'll bring that up.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, yeah, everyone should be following all the speakers 100%. I mean, so much alpha is being shared here. If you're watching Rudo's YouTube video, YouTube channel, by all means, head over to the Twitter space too. Check out who's talking. We had Dr. Crypto up here earlier and Prometheus as well, sharing some alpha. But you can follow Simplistic Charge Joe. Also, follow Rudo's Twitter if you aren't already. I don't know what you're doing if you're following his YouTube and not his Twitter. So make sure you're following his Twitter. He drops tons of charts on there. Also, follow Wolf Crypto page. We host a lot of different spaces, trading spaces being our primary one, but we also have some specific ecosystem spaces like HODLer, etc. We also have a DABA network DPIN space we do every Wednesday at 3 p.m. So shoot us a follow as well. But yeah, shoot a follow for everyone up here on stage. My personal account's on here too, William. You'll see there. If you want to follow that by all means, I do post some DPIN alpha on there every now and then. But yeah, happy Friday. I saw your guy there just say happy Friday on the chat. So
yes,
happy Friday to you.
Let's do a shout out to the guys listening. LTech Codes, what's up, buddy? Mr. Geyser, nice to have you here as well. Let's maybe, and then what do we have? We had KD 46,000, Jeff, Monkey, Dean. There's a lot of these guys. At one stage there was no audio. I got the buttons wrong, so but in any case, you have it. And then we've got Kimya, Marek, Gurminder, and Rob, Chris. Let's see, Falco, Hi Mech, Piccolo Basil. Piccolino Basil. Let's go. Piccolino Basil. I need an explanation for that name. In the comments, let me know. How do you get that? But in any case, hi to each and every one of you guys. Okay. Right. Okay, guys. So what we're doing now is we're taking control over the bulls. Wolf, lost you there for a while.
I was muted. I was talking to myself. The Bears look like they might be losing some steam. We don't really know yet. I think we're hitting that
I like
NASDAQ where,
Yeah.
yeah, I think a lot of people are just like kind of like they're tiring out. The sellers are tiring out. Maybe they're taking some profit. I actually just went ahead and opened a quick long here. I'm gonna see if we can. We just passed the EMA 9, so I'm gonna see if we can maintain here. I do have a very, very, very tight stop loss on this though, so very low risk play. I will see if we don't get whipped out here, but we'll find out. On Bitcoin, I did not open anything yet. My ETH play is still down in the red, about 77%. I'm gonna keep holding on to that though. Sorry, I just wanted to give a quick update. Go ahead, Ruda.
No, go for that. That's a good point. So guys, just to look at big orders, little orders, look at where the balance of the market is. We're still within a range, so it's going to be a choppy environment. So that's why we take profit at the middle of the range. So it gave you guys 1, 2, 3 candles to maybe get your exit in. And what I mean by get your TP and then stop to entry 4, which means that price can still come right back down here, but this demand zone needs to be held. So if you have any risk, you can start reducing that, move it in a little bit closer. This is now for the swing play. As for the scalp trade, I mean, what I want to see is if we look at this entire price structure here, we can actually have a look at where the big volume was or the big buying was created. So if we do that and we look at this area, you can see that that's the point of control. And that's the area where the imbalance lives. That's when the market got momentum. And what we will see is that all these sellers, all these large sell orders, by the time we get here, they're going to exit their shorts, which would indirectly as well then give us some buying pressure. When do I want to go long? I don't want to go long here because it's still a high risky play because it could do just this and chop. Remember now from a scalp, not from a swing trade. This is a swing setup from a scalp setup. So what I want to do is I want to see whether we can build a nice strong blue bubble, big buyers. And I want to see that the buyers have conviction and get result, because it's one thing buying, it's another thing buying and getting the result. Here you had very little bear interest, but it managed to hold price. So it meant that although we had large buyers, this was just an absorption of more limit orders, slowing the market down, not giving us aggression, which is what we want, market executed orders. So before I'm going to scalp long, I'll probably wait for this to get taken out and us trading above it, because then there could be some conviction, a conviction play to try and get this to the other side of the range. So for now, I'm just sitting on my hands. And if you're in any position, understand that this is still just chop. So it's going to be doing this. So prepare yourself emotionally that none of what you've made here is locked in gains. It's only going to be locked in gains once we break out of this range, go above 70,800. Then you can start dreaming, or breathing a sigh of relief, saying, okay, right. Okay, now let's move this into profit and look at our next entry to add to this. And then the same is going to be if we're here. Then I will look to say, okay, right, let's go short and then add to that as it goes. Okay. So yeah, that's my play. Will, anything you want to add?
Nah, I mean, I honestly, that was beautifully said. It's just really right now we're like chopping out, especially on the 3-minute. I'm watching the 3-minute right now, and it's just like we don't really know where we're going. There's a lot of struggle happening right now. It looks like bulls are trying to take back control, but bears still have a chokehold on this right now. So I want to see what happens. Maybe they'll gas out. Again, I did set my stop really tight here. So if bears just suddenly send a wick down lower here, I will be stopped out for a small loss. But I've also gone for a quick gain as well. So I'm waiting to see. I'm 1-to-1 on RR right now. That's what my scalp's looking like. So waiting to see what happens. I got my stops set. I got my TP set though. So if we do get some massive wicks, I'm prepared. That's something that a lot of people need to learn when they're trading as well, is when you guys are just market ordering in, don't forget to set your TPs and your stop losses. I used to do that all the time. It was a massive mistake that I did, because what would happen is you would have price action briefly hit your TP or your stop loss, and you wouldn't you couldn't press market order fast enough to, like, to sell or buy at the proper price that you wanted to get in at or out at. So make sure those are all predetermined when you guys get in these positions.
That's why I actually like Prime as an example. I just like the way all the exchanges have got their own version of this, but they've got a little lock function. I'm just gonna get a screenshot here just to show you where you can. Let's see. This is gonna allow me to screenshot an exchange. I don't know if my antivirus is gonna copy paste. There we go. Look on the screen. So before I take anything, I always enter on the market, but you've got the ability to lock, to decide how much you want to lose, how much you want to make. And although the market is still chopping up and down, this stays constant and it moves where the stop's going to be. So when I send the order, that locks it in. I quite like this feature. It's almost like a buy stop, but it's a market-based floating buy stop that immediately, as soon as the buy stop triggers, the protection and the take profit order is there. I do this for a reason, because I've taken positions in the past. It doesn't happen every week or every month, but I've taken positions in the past where you maybe go long right now, and then all of a sudden my internet decides to not work for 5 minutes. And by the time that I'm refreshed or I reset the router or something, price is there. Now I went long with a leveraged position. That means that at this point I'm down 3%. Now I'm down 30-40%. That's not a nice feeling. And that kind of stuff. So I never, when I click a button, I'm in, it's already protected. Otherwise, I don't take the trade.
Yeah, smart, very smart. Something I'm going to shout out here on the 3-minute, again, just looking at the NASDAQ, like I said at the beginning of the space, guys, I do love watching the NASDAQ to see what Bitcoin might do. They do follow in tandem to a degree. We have a lot of candlesticks here on the 3-minute chart that are just, they're wicked, man. Like, that is insane. They're massive dojis. They are trying to break to the upside. They end up just like failing, and then like staying, like having these long wicks with small opening and closing windows. So just keep in mind, there's a lot of contention happening. Looks like we're opening to the downside a little bit on this next candlestick. Might get stopped out here in just a second. We'll see what happens. But it looks like bears are going to have control again if this maintains. We'll see.
Yeah, it's an interesting one at the moment. So look, guys, sometimes there isn't a trade. I mean, like I said, we're range bound, so it's a choppy. What I know that probably we're going to start sounding like is, now we're bullish, now we're bearish, now we're bullish, now we're bearish, or now we want to go long and now it doesn't. But it's purely because a lot of these, just like Bitcoin now, they're finding themselves within a range and they're trying to figure out what they want to do.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, honestly, after this trade, I'm probably just going to chill on my Ethereum long and not really do anything the rest of the day. It doesn't make sense. I did some trading during London session too. This morning, I woke up to change my baby's diaper, and I figured, why not? I couldn't go back to sleep. So I just basically got on my computer and started trading. And I just got stopped out. There's the wick right there. Just got stopped out of my position. Totally fine though. Again, small risk. Anyways, on London session, we broke below the VWAP, broke the EMA 9, crossed the EMA 20. It was a perfect setup, guys. CBC flip showed me to short. I had 2 other indicators telling me to short. I went ahead and set my stop loss and went ahead and shorted during London session. And we made a bag this morning during London, man. That was just a beautiful trend to follow. It came down so beautifully. And I was like, oh my God, this is so easy. Why doesn't everyone just do this? And then the New York session opens and it's just massive chaos, of course. So, but if you traded earlier on New York session before market opened, you could have done the same exact trade. You could have waited for that cross of the EMA 9 and the 20. You could have waited for the bounce off the VWAP on the downside and then followed the CBC flip, and then bam, you're golden. You literally just short and you made some money. So I don't know. It depends on timing, of course. This time of day is always difficult. But if you can
What we
find
have is preparation
what's up?
being an opportunity. So
Yeah.
and you were lucky. And, you had your charts ready. Everything was lining up. You took the trade.
Exactly. You gotta make luck find you guys. You gotta make luck find you.
But what I can say though is I've been at it now for 14 hours. I feel like saying this is top of the hour. Let's take it home and go to bed.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, I'm at that point too, like where I'm just like, okay, time to stop looking at charts and get some actual work done today.
You still
We'll
have a
certainly
whole
see.
day ahead of you, but for me, I'm tired. I'm good.
End of the day for you, shit, dude. News spokesperson on the show. We're looking close coordination with allies and partners. I'm looking at news right now. Sorry. We have the crypto fear and greed index sitting at 11 right now. We have overall market fear greed index at 17. Short-term interest rate futures priced for a likely Fed rate hike in December was an additional news piece that came out today. Let's see. Jesus.
I think what the one thing that nobody can account for, and Wizard actually spoke about this the beginning of the week, and that's demand destruction. And a lot of what we talk about now with the rates needs to be up again and so forth, but we could sit in a situation where why do they want to bring the rates up? The main reason is, the reason that everybody is well accepted is if you bring the rates up, you can cool the economy down, you can bring inflation down. That's the whole idea. But if uncertainty does that job for you, your interest rate's probably not going to be the governing factor for that. So we could be in a situation with all this turmoil and stuff that people start saving and not spending money. And indirectly, that will bring and curb inflation, because if nobody buys anything, prices will go down. And that could be a saving grace. So the war, or the looming pending war, does have some pros to it in a way that it could support the lowering of prices and indirectly help bring down inflation, which means that by the time we get there, there won't be a need for rates to go up nor down. And that could be the surprise that the market didn't price in, because there's no way that you can quantify that now. And that could be the rally that gets everybody locked into a top again for a longer term recession, or whatever the case might be. So that's just one thing to that. This war will definitely change. I mean, our petrol price, our fuel price going up 30%. What's the first thing you're going to do with your fuel price going up 30%? Well, you're going to stop driving.
Exactly.
So,
well, that's what I'm thinking about, right? Is
yeah,
how it affects the rest of the economy. Energy is the key thing in the economy. And so if oil prices go up, that means gas prices go up. If gas prices go up, that means shipping costs go up. That means you're less likely to drive places. You're less likely to spend money elsewhere. And so you start fueling the economy.
Yeah,
and it becomes
destroying the demand. Yeah, and now where the argument is things were supposed to go higher because of this. If nobody buys the shit, what's the only other option is to make it cheaper.
Exactly. And that's why the Fed, and this is something I think we talked about the other day, but that's why the Fed is struggling right now. They're in a really hard place because option A is they cut rates because the jobs market is cooling down. But if they do that, they risk a run on inflation because of oil prices. And because, if there's more money out there, more free money out there, people are, will just buy up all these goods and buy up a bunch of gasoline as well. And now you have a ramp up in increase in prices artificially thanks to more rate cuts. But also if they cut rates, or if they don't cut rates, sorry, they sit there and do nothing. oil going up higher risks running inflation up, not inflation, but risks dumping the economy, risks a recession, because now people don't have any money to spend because they're all broke from freaking rising gasoline prices. So it's kind of a twofold, risking stagflation here, and the Fed doesn't know what to do, and I think that's why the market is counting a rate hike in December, because ultimately that's what they'll have to do to curb the rising costs of gasoline, or maybe they just want to chill on oil, and maybe inflation does ramp up eventually towards the end. I don't know what's going to happen, but all I know is the Fed is very, very they're caught between a rock and a hard place is all.
Now, I want to ask another question to you. Now, all of this that you said just right now, does that conduce or create confidence for you to buy Bitcoin?
Well, no.
Good answer. So
It doesn't create a confidence to buy anything. That's the thing. It creates confidence for people to run away and sit in cash.
okay, now what are we trying to do when we trade, guys? Is we're trying to trade what is a common anticipation of what everybody else is thinking. Think of it like this: if a like-minded individual like Will looks at all of this stuff and says, "Well, it's a bad time to buy Bitcoin," and everybody else can agree it's a bad time to buy Bitcoin, what's going to happen to Bitcoin? Is it going to go down, or is it going to go up for that reason? Because the market doesn't do what rationally makes sense. It does the opposite. Because if nobody's buying Bitcoin, it means people will be selling Bitcoin. But if there's no buyers, where's those sell orders going to get filled? Lower or higher? And that indirectly then creates the demand, or the destruction of the demand. Prices, those holding shorts, as soon as they close their shorts, it's going to create a buy wave. And that's the divergence, the correction, or the unharmonious trend for Bitcoin to go to a higher price before it does what everybody anticipated and logically it should do, go lower. Hence the fact that this is a buy zone. You have to treat it like that. So, like I say, you're in a military tent, make your plan, and then go in the field and execute it. And otherwise, you're going to get lost. All of this is going to make me want to short this, because this is what my gut is saying. Short the bugger. From this point of view. And if I look at these candles, they look like good short candles, don't you think?
I would love Joe's take on that for sure.
Oh, that's no, that's the perfect. Yeah, that's the perfect setup. Yeah, I agree with that 100%. One, the yin and the yang, so to speak, one feeds the other, and yeah, that looks like the perfect scenario of what could be on the horizon for sure on that deal. And also, if things get, talking about the fuel costs, which is a domino effect across every economy, across every country. I mean, who's going to be thinking about buying Bitcoin? I think the world has to be in a different sphere for people to think about crypto and that funny internet money. And, I don't think we've yet have pushed over the horizon, so to speak, of getting a lot of what am I thinking, credibility with the retail market, except for maybe the younger generations possibly, but I call them kids, the young people I know, they're in it to try to make their whole year's salary in a month. They're not really looking at a lot of this stuff long term, at least crypto wise. So I don't know. I think this pushes us back a little bit. Now, if and when that Clarity Act gets passed, so on and so forth, maybe they'll give us a little bit more credibility in the markets as a legitimate investment, long term investment. And the only reason why I think some of these institutions are in it, that's just another way for the. I mean, they would, you know, uh, they would bet on raindrops on a window, which one is going to hit the bottom first. You know what I mean? If there was a market for it, they would put that out there. Anything to, get the commission base. These, BlackRock, Fidelity, whoever, and I think that's a big reason why they're in crypto as well, is to just, be one of the on ramps and exit ramps. And so, but that, hopefully down the road but here recently, I mean, it's been proven gold. I mean, I think gold is topped out, silver's topped out. I don't see it going, past previous highs anytime soon. And they're definitely not a store of value. Bitcoin's not a store of value. Buying cattle is probably a store of value. People got to eat, so,
Cattle, Joe. Oil and cattle.
yeah, and here we are in Texas, so, we're out in West Texas. They're living the life right now. But I say all that, I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just saying where we are present day, like Black Truck used to tell us, one of the mentors I had, you just got to trade what's in your face. And so that's, just stay alive during this.
Yeah, don't biases affect you. Don't let your bias, Bitcoin affect your ability to trade.
Correct. As well. Trade what's in your face. I like it.
So, yeah, a lot of times your emotions get the best of you. Oh, Bitcoin's down, or this coin's down. Now, speaking of biases, as far as the altcoins, I don't know. I kind of like that chain link. I talked about that before. There's a couple others out there as well, but the reason for it, they have legitimate, I don't know if you call it, partnerships with some big folks, institutions, and being used. Of course, there's, a number of altcoins out there that are, nobody hardly knows about them. They probably have a lot of things on the horizon they're working for. And I think a lot of these small tech companies, groups, coins, they're more interested in, nose to the grindstone and developing the tech, as opposed to out here, you know, pumping their coin, or, media, getting their advertisement or whatever. And yeah, those are the dark horses, I think, that can do very well.
No, definitely. I tend to feel the same way. The only question is, what is fair market for those?
Oh, exactly. Yeah. And I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if this would ever happen, but for whatever coin tech, however you want to say it, is first to open their books every quarter, like an S&P 500 company, I think they would blow up if they showed behind the scenes. I guess you can figure that stuff out, or research it enough and try to figure it out. But it's like, to me, it's like the old days, trading penny stocks, OTC, over the counter stocks and stuff, like altcoin. That's why the altcoin market in crypto back first quarter of 2017 wasn't any, surprise or a big gamble going in trading, because, I'd done it starting out, like a lot of people, the smaller cap stocks, penny stocks, stuff like that, because you kept, at least me, kept burning up accounts. So I had to, get in there with, whatever little money I had, till I figured out, not to be a gambler, a degenerate gambler, and do it with a little bit more, regimented discipline. And I think that's, a lot of people do that with altcoins. That's their pink sheets, so to speak.
Yeah, and that maturity now needs to still get priced in. Then we will see our next move. Well, it seems like our space ended. Will has probably pressed the wrong button. Or, yeah, it's ended. So, I myself, guys, I'm going to call it. We had a little bit of a move here. I'm going to call it a day. I'm tired. I have to admit, I've been spending a lot of hours here, so I'm gonna maybe let this one just play out a bit. And if we can create structure in here, there's a $3,000 move for Bitcoin, and then I might be inclined to take that. But it's too soon to tell right now, so I don't wanna be too bearish too quickly. Okay, my military plan says be a bull. This 4-hour picture. Don't forget the 4-hour picture. Still bullish until proven elsewhere, or it's still a buy zone. It doesn't really matter whether you're bullish. It's still a buy zone, and until that is taken off the table, you just bring that in there. Until that's taken off the table, all of this is just chop trying to find a floor. Okay, there you have it. Right, guys, I'm going to end the stream there. Thanks so much for everybody that joined in. 140 people watching live right now. So we got one entry in, didn't make a killing, but there was money made. So it was a successful stream. I want to say good night. Have a great weekend. I'll be back in the next week. Cheers, everybody.